I'm sitting here with one of my spiritual daughters. I'm sitting with my daughter, Cachét Brookins, who is my spiritual daughter, a daughter that I love, that I am very pleased with. And I'm thankful that you're here to do this interview. Thank you for choosing to talk to me today.
Yes.
How you feel?
I feel good. I'm like, am I red?
No, you're not red. You
am I
good.
blushing?
All right. All right. So you're not nervous?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. All right, cool. So people get to see you, and you tell a lot of your story. You're very transparent, and when you lead worship, you talk a lot about your story, who you are, things you struggle with. But today I want to talk just a little bit about fatherhood and your relationship with me specifically. But let's start before that. Let's talk about you and your biological father. Tell me your relationship with him.
Right. Wow. Now or how it started.
Let's talk about how it started. Growing up, your relationship with what it was.
Growing up, I remember him being there, and I saw like a lot of pictures of him being there, but it was a point where it turned, and my mom said it was because my cousin put him on child support, so he got upset, and he went away. So then he would come back like once or twice a year, and like some big events. Like I remember he taught me how to ride a bike. Like I remember vividly that memory. I remember I was like 10, and he would let me like sit in his lap and like work the steering wheel while he, drove the car or whatever. So I have like vivid memories, but it was just because it wasn't that often. So that was all I could really hold on to.
Yeah.
And people would say, you don't look like your mom or your sister and brothers. Like, you look just like your dad. I'm like, whatever. But it is true. I do look like him. But yeah, so when I turned like maybe 11 or 12, like he stopped coming around as much. So it went from like the sporadic once, twice a year to never.
So what was that? What did that do to you? Like he stops coming around. What does that do to you? What do you lose? What are you lacking now that he's gone?
I don't think I really cared, honestly, because I was just used to him not being there. Yeah. Like I was a real little girl when I like spent the most time with him. So as I got older, it was just like, okay, he not here, whatever. And it was like a anger.
Okay.
So it's just like I was able to switch that, and like I was, like I came to know and love God like early. Like I got baptized when I was 5. I knew exactly what I was doing. Like I remember that vividly too. So it's like, well, I got God, I got my mom. I don't need you, whatever.
Right.
And I kept that mentality up until 5 years ago?
Right.
Maybe less.
We started talking. We started getting to a place where I would tell you gotta love people, right? You gotta show compassion and love.
You were hard on me. It was all good too. It was good.
Well, talk to me about. Let's talk about this. Like, at what point did you realize, like, hey, I didn't have my natural father, but God has given me this spiritual father in my life. And like you said, I was kind of hard on you. I mean, I'm getting after you about certain things. Like, you got to examine yourself, look in the mirror, change this. If you're going to work with people, it's going to have to do. I mean, and there's accountability, right? We talked about in the message about the Father when Jesus baptized, there's accountability, right? There's this accountability. Talk about that accountability, and then you starting to realize what made it different. I guess that's the real question. What made it different with mine and your relationship that opened you up to receive what it is that I was giving you?
Wow. Man, I felt like you loved me. Like it was coming from a place of like, no matter what you do, like I love you and I want you to be better because I see you how God sees you. And that, I don't remember like a human being actually seeing me how God sees me. Like, of course, it's God. Like, He's gonna see you like no one else can see. But to have somebody like really care about me for real, and I didn't have to live up to anything to feel like, okay, if I do this, then maybe He'll love me. If I do that, it's like, man, like you called me out on my flaws. Like I still love you, and I'm gonna help you to grow in this area. It's like, okay. So it wasn't that pushback like, who he talking, It's like, no, he right.
Yeah.
I love him for that.
Talk to me about how, like now having seen that there's this possibility of being with someone with no strings attached, that's opened up, even from you being a passionate worshiper,
Yeah.
somebody who went and loved God from the time you were 5 years old, knew what you were doing, but now understanding on another level, like there are relationships that are just, they can be life-giving, someone being with you, not wanting anything from you, but wanting everything for you. How has that even opened up your relationship with God on another level?
Ooh, you got some good questions. It just showed me like that I can never truly figure him out.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of things that I thought, okay, I got that. I've experienced this. Okay, that makes sense. And I can logically like figure it out in my mind. Okay,
Yeah.
I know where this is going. But with this, it's just like, what? Like, because I just never thought it was possible. Especially not with somebody who is not like my blood, because that's something I've always said too. Oh, it has to be blood, you know. If it's not blood, it's not real. They don't really love you, that, you know. And so, like, he just showed me just the possibilities of just when I really trust him, like even with the people that he's put in my life. Because like, okay, God, I trust you, like, but these people though.
Yeah.
But he showed me like, no, like you trusted me. You have to trust that I'm putting these people in your life for a reason, to love you, to grow you and nurture you so you can help other people.
Yeah.
And so people who, you know, had to grow up like I did or similar situations, they don't have to, you know, go so long being in that bondage.
That's
like
good.
They can be released earlier than I was.
That's really good. Explain to, like, kind of explain, I think we've talked about it, but explain to me what is the role that you have received from me, or that you even desire from me, that is unique and different from that which I have with Catherine that's just unique with you?
It's like deeper. Like I really can't articulate it the way I feel it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I need you to, because we don't care.
I know. But like I know Mackenzie and Michaela, like them, they're your babies, like for real. But it's like I want that too. But I know it's not the same. But it's like, hey, you know, I do want that bond of having like a dad who considers me to, you know, not just, hey, you know, I pour into you spiritually, but like every part of me.
Right.
That dad that like you're at big events, like you're there with me, the good, the bad. Like you tell me when I'm wrong, you tell me when I'm right. Like that real like daddy.
At this stage in your life, why is that even important?
Man, because I feel like the way God makes us, I'm gonna try to make this make sense.
Yeah.
We're whole, but we're not. It's like we need, I don't know how to say it.
I think you were saying it.
Okay. You know how I do. I start. It's like he allows us to be missing something, right? Of course, we're missing a lot of things. We have flaws.
Right.
But he allows certain experiences that we have or lack thereof to like shape us and mold us. But we get to a certain place and it's like, okay, I want to take you where I showed you.
Yeah.
But in order to get there, like you have to be complete. And I feel like you complete me. And that's weird, right? Because it's not, that's something you tell your boyfriend or your husband, not your boyfriend. Like, your husband.
Yeah, husband.
Yeah.
Wife, spouse.
Your spouse.
Spouse, right? Two become one.
Right.
That's
but it's not like that, like we talked about. It's not sexual.
Right.
But I feel like you complete me. Like since day one, you know, it was something about you. I was just like, man, I wish he was my dad. And I probably never told you that. But it's just like, man, like what you have, like I need that. Wow. That completes me.
I heard this saying recently. It said, when siblings compete, it can be healthy and even cause growth, right? The competition between siblings. But when a father and a child compete, it's just straight weird. And so one of the things that I am super proud of as being your father is that you have been able to create a curriculum and a pathway and a process for people to understand how to get into God's presence. So you are a worshiper, but you're also a person who says, I want to teach worshipers what it looks like to come into the presence of an almighty God. And I love that. And I think some people will look and say, but you're the pastor of the church. Why don't you be the primary teacher of worship? And I do feel like I'm the primary worship leader. I need to worship and be a worshiper and be an example of worship. But I feel like God has given you something so unique. And I said the same thing to Catherine. He's given her something so unique with stewardship. He's given you something so unique with worship. I don't feel the need to compete with you guys about that. Talk to me about what it feels like to have someone push you towards your purpose and push you toward what God has placed in you.
Man, it's amazing. Like, I'm so grateful for it because, like you said, like, everything that you release to us, like, it's just like God. Like, God is God. Like, he can do everything. He knows how to do everything, but he allows us to shine, per se. Like, he doesn't share his glory, but because he's daddy, he's like, hey, you got that, baby. I'm going to just sit back and be proud. It's like, you can do everything. Like, you're Robert White. Like, you're a beast. Like, for real. Everything. You can do it all, but you choose to release to us, like, hey, you good in this, you do it. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to just be proud. Like, and that's amazing, like, because I haven't had that. Like, even with my family, like, I was happy, like, when I preached that time, like, my mom, my brother came, like, it was cool, and certain events like that come, but to have that consistent person there that no matter what you do, if it's huge, if it's small, like, I'm there with you, like, and I'm going to be a cheerleader, and I'm going to release you to do, like, what God has called you to do. And it's dope.
Do you remember when I first made you and Catherine start hanging out?
Yep, I was thinking about that the other day. Not the other day, like last couple weeks ago.
What do you remember? I told you guys there was something in both of you that was very unique, and y'all needed to get to know each other because it was something that God was doing in both of you.
We needed
that y'all needed to be respectful of who God was making you, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
It's so funny because now that I think about it, it was like we were little kids just bickering and fighting with each other. Like, we clashed hard at the beginning. Like, it was rough. But now, like, we sisters, like, we were prayer partners and, you know, like, we're really close now. So it's just funny that at first, like, we were just bumping heads. Like,
I don't think at the time either one of y'all called me a spiritual father. Neither one of y'all were calling me father. I mean, you said that you had that thought.
Yeah.
And maybe she did, but it was never articulated. And I think God was doing something unique, right, in this spiritual family that we had and bonding us. Because I was looking at y'all, I'm like, yo, as talented as y'all are, as gifted as y'all are, why are y'all bickering? Like, let's create a family. Right? Y'all need to be sisters.
We were acting in the roles without even having the titles. It's funny.
No, that's so amazing. What would you say to somebody who is leery about saying, like, I don't need no spiritual father. I don't need no daddy. Like, my daddy wasn't there and I don't need nobody. Or my daddy was there and I'm cool. Like, what would you say to somebody who's rejecting the notion that God can place somebody in your life to cover you in this way?
Don't listen to the lies. Like, I was fasting with one of my friends and we were talking about this because I was struggling with I don't know if I told you this, like, I was telling her, like, I need to talk to Pastor, but I'm so afraid. And I was like, Lord, like, why do I have this need, like, that I need a dad?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, in order to come into the world, like, I needed a dad, but, like, why? For what? Like, I got you. Like, I'm good. Like, look, I'm in this house. I got kids. Like, I'm good. And he was like, I was Jesus' dad. I am Jesus' dad. But even he had Joseph. Like, God said that to me. I was sitting at the table. And he's like, but he had Joseph. And God was still, you know, speaking to him. And like you talked about when he got baptized, saying, this is my son. But he still had Joseph, though.
Right.
So it's like, yes, God is my daddy. And he is with me every single day, all day. But I still need somebody I can touch. I still need that tangible, practical, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but I do need that.
That's good. I just want to say to you, I'm proud of you. I love you. You're my child in whom I'm well pleased. And I want everybody to know that you have something so special on you and that when God gets done with you, the world will know your name and the world will know him by knowing you.
Wow.
So I love you. I thank you for this interview. It's been great.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
I told you I was going to cry.
Well, you did, but you did very good. You didn't cry. You didn't cry a lot.
I didn't. I did good.
That's good.
I love you.
I love you too. Great.